Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for BODW to inviting me. It's a great opportunity to present my work here in Asia. And so I'm from Belgium. I study interior design in Saint-Luc in Belgium, in Brussels. And so I'm an interior designer. And also, of course, I had some design courses at school. And I will show you my story and my work right away. So, after my study, and already in my study, I created this piece, which is a screen called Paradox Mobile. It was a student work. So I had the first success with this piece a few years later when I was selling this piece to Ralph Lauren in New York. We was opening a furnishing and decoration store. I show you here my first chair. So after my study, I was trying to find my way to make innovation. And I start with the material, to work on the material, to find a way to understand how move the material. And this was my way to make some innovation. So this was the first try, this very heavy chair with recuperation material. And, but it was already reproducible. It looked like a sculpture, but it's made with industrial elements, like the tube, the big tube you can see on the back. So it was the first try. It was not for a client. It was just for me to make some research. After some research, some prototypes, some creation made by my hand, because I didn't have another opportunity and the choice. I don't want to go working in an architectural office, studio, and so on. And so step by step, I first work with steel, because steel is a very easy material to fold, to create objects, very cheap, and with very few material, you can already do many things. So steel is cheap, it's easy to weld, to fold and everything. You can make light objects, also very heavy or very massive things. So everything is almost possible to make with steel. So I created this first collection. A few years after my study, I created my own brand, and this was my first product. That was the Virgo shelf. So it's a shelf made of 5 shelves and with inclination. The one in the middle is horizontal, and it's a geometric drawing because it's very geometric and it works for different sizes. The biggest element is 2 meters high, 130 for the medium and 80 for the smaller, which is size for CDs. At the time, we used a lot of CDs for the small shelf and the bigger one for the bibliothèque, and so on. So that was the document presentation I did at the time. This was also, so I created my own brand, small brand. It was diffused in Benelux. So I approached the importer of Cartel and Moroso. In Belgium, we are a very good agent, of course. And they distribute my Virgo shelf and this mirror. This mirror was an innovation. It was the first mirror ever done with a vertical axis of rotation. We all remember maybe the old mirrors in the past were in inclination horizontally. And that was only for purpose of material, because I learned after this project that why they do this psyché. It was because the size of the glass was not productable in a biggest size. So they invent this way to incline the mirrors. So this mirror was the first mirror on the vertical axis with a hook on the back. Now, today, I think there are many. Even here in my room in the hotel is a small model like this. So it was very, very largely copied, because it was a good idea. We don't copy the the bad ideas, of course. And so, of course, I forgot to say, this was in stainless steel. So it was one step more in the difficulty of the material. And I created a third project at the time in this collection, was this table in aluminum called Quatre Pattes. Very light table that you can take out the feet easily. So a very thing for transportation, for cost, and so on. And okay, so that was steel, stainless steel, aluminum. So aluminum is a very huge world with many kinds of aluminum, diverse aluminum. And also, all this metal is fantastic because the same material can be different hardness when they are heat and so on. So I discovered all those things step by step, and I did an experience with this. Regarding the distribution aspect, after 2 years of I was producing myself with people I engaged to weld, to work for me, I stopped this system because I was only busy with production problems and not anymore with creation. And when I stopped this process, I had a great inspiration. And here I would like to say that my philosophy in design is an emotional equation with 4 parameters, which are functionality, beauty, technology, and culture, which means that when I have an idea, all those parameters are converging in the same time and have this idea, which is, when I say technology, of course, it's supposing cost price of production cost, and functionality is clear. The beauty is something that we can see after, maybe. So this is a bench. The bench called le banc means the bench, and I had this great intuition to fold metal in three dimensions without mold, which is a quite innovative process, which is not a new technology at all. It's made with old machines. So this could be done 100 years ago with the folding machines. And I found this process to bend 3D shapes from flat sheets. So this bench was not drawn on computer, was even not drawn with a concrete dimension. It was made directly on the machine. So, which means that here the material is expressing himself. The shape is coming out of the material, which is a quite new way to make design, and is on the reflection of the material. And the experience that I had before with visiting factories, we were making elements of my previous collection that we were assembling in my studio, atelier, workshop. So this bench is a bit the icon of my work. It's resuming all the aspects because you see the shape is very sensual and it's coming out of material. So it means it's an intimate reality of the material and what design can be. So here also is the aspect of the shape, but also the economy, because the shape of this bench, which is bended three-dimensionally, increase a lot the resistance, 3 times. So we use 3 times less material, which is also very important in design, in production design. For this reason, it will be, I presented in Milan in 2000, in Salone Satellite, and it was very immediately understood by the Italian brands. And I had many requests to represent this model in the brands. And I signed a contract with MDF Italia. We was at the time a young brand, not so known, and we grew together. Here we see the bench in the Chinese pavilion in Belgium, in Brussels, which is from the Expo 58 Universal Exposition, which is now a Japanese art museum. And so this bench is in many museums in Belgium and also all around the world. So this collection were increasing with MDF Italia. We did the table basse, the coffee table, and the bench, of course, in different dimensions. So today, since 10 years now, my studio is working in 4 fields of design. Furniture and accessories for industrially produced for Italian brands. I worked more or less for 10 Italian brands. We're also busy with art design. Art design is a new dimension of design. We appeared maybe 8 years ago, which is now a strong market. Art design is limited edition pieces, and is sold through galleries, art galleries, art fairs, and so on. I'm still making architecture, and also we are busy with street furniture, which is another world, and which is, of course, social and for everybody. So after the bench, we did the grand table. This table is our bestseller, still our bestseller. It's a table made with the same principle of the bench, except that the table has to be more flat. So we have some reinforcement underneath. And the table is, the longer is 4 m 40. We have 8 dimensions for 2 meter, from 2 meter to 4 m 40. And okay, it's a very simple table, as you can see. And we have also the little shape details of the folding, 3D folding that I invent. After this, I continue with this process of reinforcing, using less material and give this sensual shape, which is also very ergonomic. And we have the picnic table that I designed with Dick Wijnands, the owner of Extremis, this Belgian company of outdoor furniture. So this piece was also really a statement, and still something which is time after time accepted more and more. So it's funny to see that in the beginning we don't sell anyone, and years after year we sell more and more because people have to accept to integrate this design, which takes time sometimes. So we can see here another view, and this table, picnic table, is stackable also. The weight also of the table is 60 kilos. It's entering into elevators. It's going on a small terrace of apartments and so on. So it was really perfect design. And this, with aluminum, we tried many other ways to reproduce this model in resin, in carbon fiber. And this is still the best way to produce it. And also, of course, aluminum is also a mineral material, recyclable, and it's very ecological. Another story is here, it is with the Padova. In 2003, I met Mrs. de Padova, which is one of the pioneers in Italy of the design. She was the first selling design in Milan after the Second World War. And for Milanese people, the Padova is the reference of what design is historically. And it was a nice personal meeting. You know, it's always going through people. And so she let me the opportunity to design this credence, which is in Chinese red here. And I'll show you a little bit inside the complexity of the construction. So we have a double envelope. And it's also furniture which is secret furniture, because you cannot open it naturally. People always try to open it from the middle to the outside. And here the doors are opening in the other way. So it's a kind of, you have to be initiated to use this piece of furniture. And this is a limited edition of 150 pieces. So in this side we were also a bit in advance because it was 5 years before the fashion of limited edition. This was another application of the process of the folding, 3D folding. We can give you very ergonomic shapes as well. For the Padova, I designed also this wall storage for magazines. In mirror polished stainless steel, we give a nice animation, something more, another dimension into the function of the object. After this, I had the opportunity to work with Driade. Driade is one of the most famous Italian brands, working with very famous designers like Philippe Starck, Driade. And so I had the opportunity to work with molds, because all the pieces that you have seen before was no using mold at all. And so this is the first project I did for Driade. It's an umbrella stand in rotomolding, which is a quite usual system to produce furniture. A second step was this chair. We was making air molding, very advanced technology of injection. This is another piece molded in aluminum. And this is produced in Asia for Driade, and is cast aluminum. So it is a big successful piece, because you can have one branch and you can add more and more branch and play with this in many compositions, like this, or like that. And it's something like, it's like fish in the water. After I did also these trays for Driade, which are made in this technique of folding metal. Here was another nice experience, a project I developed, which is very simple, in fact. So here, of course, we work with computers. With all the molded pieces, they were designed with 3D modeling in computer. And this is a very simple shape. It looks complicated, but it's just a twisted S. It's called the S table, because it's also stable. That's why the name is Double Sense. And this table is offered ergonomy. So in Italy, everybody knows that in the companies or design, the most sold round table is the Saarinen, you know, the famous tulip table. And until now, nobody could compete with this essential Saarinen table. So this piece was maybe one of the first real concurrent for the Saarinen table, and we produce it very well, and we sell it very well as well with MDF Italia. And this is made in crystal plants, so it's a kind of corian which is molded. The corian exists only in sheets, and the crystal plant you can mold. So you understood material is quite important for me, and it's also influencing my design a lot, the choice of the material. And in this case, the material was chosen afterwards, because we have tried many tests with different materials to finally use crystal plant. And so you can see the shape of this table is changing from the point of view. So when you see, you have one object like this, when you turn around, it's another object. So this is also something quite interesting, I think, to have metamorphic objects. This is the initial project with the glass top, where you can see from the top this beautiful shape, which is a bit like a DNA ribbon. So it's a natural, very natural shape that you can find in the nature, in the microscopic nature. We did also other version, the black version. So this is another story with MDF Italia. They asked me to make a coat hanger, and I think about the first coat hanger ever was probably a tree, when you put your jacket or your skin, the animal skin to have, I mean, in the prehistoric time. And so I designed a baobab. The baobab is an empty trunk with those bones, and it's also realized in crystal plants and diffused by MDF in 60 countries in the world. Another project with another Italian brand, Skitch. This table is also made in crystal plant, and is an evolution of probably my grand table, because here we can sit on the end of the table. And that was a nice experience too. You can see the side, which is, the pieces really work from every side. This was the first experience in sofa. Sofa is something quite difficult. It's a very science to realize, to have the comfort and all the aspects of ergonomy, and also, of course, the cost price. So this is Aubergine. It's a project that was a short time in collection, but unfortunately it came out very fast, because by the decision of the editor. That was a second experience with CerrutiBaleri. CerrutiBaleri was initially Baleri, but was bought by Nino Cerruti, the same person who did the fashion brand, Cerruti. And here we have the sumo with a Cerruti Driade, you know, the famous Cerruti Driade, because Cerruti is making fabric since more than 100 years and still active in the fabric. And so this sumo is called sumo because it's fat and gives very nice shapes. We have many covers, like leather or fabric, many fabrics. This is an aniline leather, and also the two-seater. So here we can see the wine cooler called Cruise. It's a wine cooler in silver, plated, and okay, it's asymmetric. It's a bit like a front of a cruise, like a Titanic or something like that. It's very well done by Driade. It's made also in Asia, and it's incredibly well done. This is a view of my studio in Brussels, and I'm going to show you now some limited edition that I made in the art design world field with sell-through galleries. So they are all in metal. And this is the Archiduchesse. So this is a piece not to be sold in large scale, of course, as you can see, because the functionality is a bit less, it's very comfortable, but of course you need space. You don't put this chair or on the table, you put it there like a sculpture. And so this is my process, is a cut sheet which is folded. So it's simply, you have two visions of the project. You have the vision flat and in volume. So it's a kind of process that I pursue, and after the bench, it's, all those things were possible to do. And this archiduchesse is a princess as a chair, because a chair is also something which is like a person, you know. You can refer yourself, it's a statue also. So that's why also, because chair is probably the most iconic object in design. When you think design, is always the chair, because you can refer yourself to a chair. So this is, of course, talking to ladies, and they think about marriage. People tell me many times, it's like a marriage chair, and which I didn't know that we have marriage chair. So this is in aluminum, mirror polished, and we have also the white version. So this is a limited edition of 18 pieces. We can see here with the stool XST, which is the male pendant of the feminine archiduchesse. This was an exhibition in Belgium at Grand Tournu. Here I show you the gunmetal bench. So this is an evolution of the bench that I showed you before, le banc. And we went one step forward in dematerialization. So you can see here there is even less material than on the bench, which is plain. It's not for this purpose that we did it, but we'll show you an image later. But I did also some installation into the city of Brussels of this bench for urban street furniture. And you know, in Brussels, people are making a lot of graffiti. And so it was a big problem with the surfaces. And so suddenly, after the first installation that I had to do very fast, I discovered that the varnish anti-graffiti was not working. And I found a way to have no graffiti anymore on a bench, is to have no surface anymore. So on this bench, it's impossible to make graffiti. By hazard, I put the prototype on the auction one day. And it was bought by a gallery in Paris, and it was the start of my collaboration with galleries in Paris and in other countries as well. So this is a limited edition of 12 pieces. It's called gunmetal bench, and it's made in gunmetal, which is a precious way to finish the pieces. You can see also the optic aspects. You have some kinetic effects sometimes when you are double side of holes. So this is my T-chair. So it's called T-chair because the drawing is a T when it's flat, and then it's fold, and it's resistant enough. So this piece I did in 1999 before the bench. So sometimes we do complicated things before, and we come back to simple things after. So it's very comfortable chair, and still my reference for all the chair I design in terms of ergonomy. So in the series for outdoor, I did also the gunmetal chair, which is in aluminum, is very light and resistant. You can see here some kinetic aspect with the holes. It makes another dimension into the object. This is another story, is mirrors made in metal, which are bomb-baited. It's a kind of sculpture, it's a limited edition of 18 pieces, but it's still functional. It's not sculpture because the function is really to look at you into the mirror. You see yourself correctly in the middle, and on the side you have some anamorphic aspects when you look at yourself. So this is another one, bomb-bait. You have a wide view on the world. So it's also the idea of this project was to remind that our vision is subjective. And when the reflection is mirror, it's also reality, but another reality. So that was a bit my idea to experiment this aspect. Here we have another object, also a limited edition. It's a meteorite. So it's a piece that is lying on the floor, and it's a magazine rack in the end. Please really appreciate at this time. This is the trophy of the Belgian cinema. It's a Magritte du cinéma. A few years ago, it's like La Palme d'Or in Cannes or the César in the prize for the award for the cinema. And so this was Magritte. So it has to be inspired by Magritte's work. Magritte is a Belgian painter of the Surrealism, and is the way they want to make this prize. Designed by me, but named Magritte. Here also, sometimes I work also with wood, even I'm a very labelized metallic. And I will show you some architecture. This is a project I did in Ibiza, in the island of Ibiza in Spain, and which is a very nice island. And I had the opportunity to make a total project, which is quite unusual these times. So the building was existing, I transformed the architecture, and I had the opportunity to do absolutely everything in the house. Well, there are some pieces of furniture that were not of mine. As you can see, this is not my design, but you will see inside it was also the opportunity to make new prototypes, because for me, one of the moments important in the process of a project is when you have the prototype in front of you. This is in the end, the more intense moment, when you have the piece realized like you talk it before. So this is a quite important moment for me. And so I like to make prototypes. So I'm producing prototypes all the time. And so also this is why I like to make architecture, because I have always possibility to make new experiments. So this is a small desk is in wood and painted, of course. You see here the interior. And this is the masterpiece of the house, is the kitchen. Made in solid, thick wood. And you have in the cube everything. You have the refrigerator, you have the washing machine. Everything is included in this cube. I think it was a nice result. Also, you can see the details that I like to design. And also, what is important to say is that the door handles, the handles are not added. It's a subtraction of material, which is also a nice concept, I think. And with this subtraction of material, also the dust doesn't enter into the drawers because it's going up. So here is the kitchen, because kitchen is the place where people meet anytime. So you can see here a reflection of the blob mirrors. And also I like this picture because, I designed the stairs, sculptural stairs over there. And so we could have more terrace on the roof of the house. This is a concrete table fixed under the floor. Also in the room of this house, I try to make a kind of concept and kind of statement, and maybe also a start of a conception for hotels. So this was my idea in this project, to try to make a concept to be reproduced afterwards in hotels or big projects that I didn't have the opportunity at this moment to do, but could be. So everything is designed. The bed, you can see also some other pieces. Also in the bathroom, I designed the tubs, the lavabos, which are made in epoxy. And so there are so many experience, which I like to do. This is another architectural project that I did in Brussels, which you can see the floor iron steel and everything is black and white. It's nice to have this old architecture with contemporary furniture. Is a nice contrast. This is a public project for a bibliothèque, a library in Brussels. This is an art gallery I did also in Brussels for Izzy Brachot. And now I come back a little bit to furniture and lamps. So after making my own process of producing furniture, I had the opportunity to work with molds, with Driade and MDF. And here, this is a third stage. So this is 3D printing. In Belgium, we have one of the pioneers of the 3D printing, which is called Materialize. And they called me to make some projects, some lamps projects, because they have this brand, MJX by Materialize. So this is Gamete. This is a lamp that we have been working a lot, maybe 1 year on it, to design this shape without any reference. Because, the 3D printing is no constraints. So you are in the total empty. Is another way to start a project and to have design, because there is, in theory, no limit. So we were inspired by nature and by some natural vegetal cements of the trees was coming down. You see the helicopter seeds. And so this is the lamp gamete, which is very special shape. And also the light was very important to not be blinded by the light. And you can see the detail of the small holes over there is like a skin look by microscope. Another project made with MJX was this algae lamp. So here we are totally free, and this piece should not be realized by mold because it's too complicated, like the previous one. So this is the challenge when you work with MJX, to show what is possible to do. So we push very far this concept. Here, this is another completely other project made for Korean. It's made in Korean. It's a thermoformate Korean bench, which is 3 meter, 3 meter 60 long. It's a unique piece at this time. Made for an event for Korean. They commissioned me to design. They realized themselves, of course. This is another collaboration with Fiam, Italia, which is a very strong brand in Italy. They are curving glass, so they have their own production, which is today a bit unusual. They have a brand with their own production. So they work only with glass and bent glass. So this is a graph desk, so it's a very fluid shape. And of course, it was a long time to make this project realizable, and also because of the problem of stability, because you have only 3 points on the floor. So we had to make many changes, many tests to have the right stability to be sellable. It's really a piece I was very satisfied by the result. This is not a collaboration with Fiam, and it's made this year. At the Salon Immobile, we present this caldera mirror made in a fused glass. So it's another way to use glass, and it's mirrored afterwards. So you have many, many reflections, nice reflections. Another project of this year is this cone chair. It's a collaboration with a Brazilian brand from Sao Paulo, which is also nice to make collaboration with overseas company. And Brazil, as you know, is very opening and very strong now in economy. So the innovation here, this chair is, you can see, is like an insect a little bit, and it's at this point. So I think it's a new kind of chair, never seen before. Still possible to do chairs where we are light and practical like this one. So about innovation, many people think it's not possible to innovate anymore, that everything has been done. And so I think here I proved the contrary. And this is something important for me, is to go against these received ideas. And not to reproduce, reinterpret, but to really create something. This is my motivation. So this is something completely different. It's a very simple desk that's designed for Gispen. So it's very minimalistic and very cheap in a way. It's for home office, and you can just fix on the wall. So you have only 2 legs by element, and it's for a home or office desk. Let me show you now some street furniture. Spontaneously, I designed those pieces, and I was proposing to the city of Brussels, which is an evolution of my process of bending. Why urban furniture, street furniture? Because it's also on the reflection of the cost. So in the domestic furniture, you have to be light, you have to move it easily. In street furniture, you can use steel, which is much heavier, and so you can have a nice economy into the cost of the piece. And so I designed those elements. First this one, which is quite funny, and, but was not according to the city because it was too many problems of security, you know, the blind people and also the graffiti. But I learned by these meetings with the city, when I was presenting this, many aspects of designing street furniture, which is not at all something simple, because there are many, many aspects of security. So this was another bus stop that we realized, a prototype, and I was showing it, for example, in Kortrijk at the Biennale. And we also implanted one prototype in Brussels, in a nice area. A declination in a bike protection, and also this combination of 2 functions, which is parking for bicycle and bench in the same time. So finally, I compete for a competition for the bus stops of Brussels city, and we win the competition with this model, which is, you can see, much more traditional, because responding to all the prescription of the city. But so this project will be implanted in Brussels in the next month. There will be 2,000 pieces implanted in Brussels. So this will be the bus stop of Brussels city, which is a nice way to give an image to a city, to have the furniture dedicated to this city. You see, we can find some small innovation into the shape, which is this round part in the front on the roof. We did many attention to the details and the comfort of the seating. And here you can see the last implantation I did in Brussels with the benches, with the holes, anti-graffiti, which is also integrating very well in the city because it's quasi-transparent. So everywhere you put them is integrated, which is also important for furniture, street furniture. This was the first version that we replaced now with the holes, and they were full of graffiti. I think I'm just in time for the 40 minutes. Thank you very much for listening to me.
So I think we have time for two questions before the lunch break. Yes, we have a very enthusiastic young lady here.
Hi, I'm Jolly. I'm from College of St. Binion. Since your style mostly is like folding metals and stuff, for us students, can you give us some tips on how to find your identity as a designer?
Look, yes, I think you have to believe in your mission on Earth, probably, or to be. I was convinced I have something to do, really, in this world with this process of metal, and so you have to think differently and probably not accept received ideas, because many received ideas are here and blocking our creativity. So I think it's important to be one step ahead on the side and not absorbing. Most of the things people say are wrong, by my experience. So you have to do your own reality and find your own way. I was looking find this on the material and the reflection also, but it's your way. Everybody has to find his way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Young gentleman over there, please.
Hi, I'm Lutfi from Jakarta. I make chairs, all from wood, from old wood. I refinish and I reupholstery. So I cannot work with any other material other than wood. So any advice how to optimize wood to the maximum, to the max? Yeah.
I think wood is a slow material. When you use metal, it's something which is much more industrial because you can be fast. You know, the cost still, in any case, important in any project, the cost price. So massive wood is a long process. It's slow when you. In any case, I think it's not so. Maybe in China, I don't know. The costs are much lower. But when it's produced in Europe, for example, it's difficult to make a nice chair in massive wood, which is sellable for mass markets. So I think your orientation could be in a small diffusion, but high quality, with a high cost for each chair. I don't see your chair, but this could be the possibility. And because today we have different choice possible, so I think, as I told you, art design, but it's also collectors, people who have no limit budget for if they like really the chair, and they will buy it. And so this is a new way also to sell some furniture today.
Perhaps
I hope I respond to your question.
I think I have a question actually in addition to that one, because in terms of technology, what you're dealing with is probably technology that's not available to this part of the world, or maybe Indonesia or whatever. And wood is a technology that's been around for ages.
Yeah.
You know, the tools. Do you think it's easier to innovate with new technologies than it is with traditional craft?
You know, this is a received idea that I hear many times, that new technology will help us to make new shapes. It's not true, you know. The shape, we can do it by our own. Of course, when the material you use guides you to certain kind of shapes and so on. With 3D printing, of course, we can do everything, etc. But I think the real goal is to do new things with the old technology, like I did with the bench and all this series. And I'm very proud of this because I demonstrate that it's not true. We don't need new technology to innovate. We can innovate with any technology, with any material, even with natural plants. You can, you know, like we did in the past to make I don't find the word. With leaves, you can trace it and make objects the artisanal way. But I think today we are, as I heard, we have a big period of transformation. Everything is in transformation. So everything is possible today. You can do artisanal way, you can do industrially, and everybody has this change. It's chance to find a new process, to find a new old process, and to reuse the old process in another way, and there are many possibilities. I think 10 years before, I was thinking I want to make only design for Italian brands with huge diffusion. Today, as we heard this morning also with Stefano Giovannoni, in Italy the time is a bit different, and today I'm going a bit more on limited edition and this kind of work, which is, I think today more possible and more opportunity for that work.
Great, we have hope. Thank you very much, Xavier. Thank you very much for coming. See you out in the afternoon.
Thank you very much.